Let's do this. All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Today is Saturday. What is it? September the 4th, the 5th?
The 5th.
2020, and we are here to talk about really just two topics. While Carla gets logged in, we kind of did this kind of spontaneously. We had one lesson this morning, and her brother is coming into town, who's a really good tennis player as well. So I know she's really excited about that. So we wanted to get a show in today, as we always like to do them daily throughout majors. Are you seeing it?
No, I can't see it, so I'm trying to find it. Usually it shows up on live shows, and it's not.
I think that's it right there.
No, that's 33 minutes. That was yesterday's
Let me
show.
see, just to be sure. Yeah, we're good. There's 6 people on there.
Okay, now I got it.
Okay.
It's always lagging.
So, pardon the spontaneity of the show, but there's two subjects we really wanted to talk about, and I think we talked about them for a while last night. So we're just going to jump right into them. By the way, today's U.S. Open show, after the rounds are complete, we're going to miss it today, hence why we're doing this now. But the two topics we want to talk about, number one is what we believe is factual, and that Novak Djokovic is just absolutely disliked by the media here, by those that commentate on the tennis networks, whatever you're watching here in the U.S. on, whether it's ESPN or whether it's the Tennis Channel or whether it's the commentators that are employed within those large media type corporations. And we're going to talk about why we think that for a second time. We did a show about that not terribly long ago. Why was Novak Djokovic disliked? And what flag should you choose to fly when you play tennis dealing with Osaka? So that's a good video too. But we were watching last night. Oh, and by the way, the second topic is going to be should Tsitsipas get rid of his dad? And I think one of our viewers sent you a comment this morning that said the same thing. And we were talking about that, Carla, during the match yesterday, and we will discuss Borna Coric for a minute as well. But let's go back to Novak Djokovic.
Yeah, Lucifer's right. I know I just got a message from Rahesh said the media is starting to write good about Djokovic.
I don't think so.
He's dreaming, because what I saw yesterday with Blake, and I can't remember the blonde lady's name, they were interviewing him, it wasn't good. It wasn't positive. They weren't nice. And then I watched them give him an interview after his U.S. Open match. You know how they do the interviews, the players after the matches? And I didn't think that was a good interview either.
If you're internationally and don't watch these matches on the same platforms that we do, we'll give you a quick Cliff Notes version of this. So after the Novak Djokovic match last night, in which he played extremely well, I mean, Jan-Lennard Struff played really well too. He played much better than the last time that he played Djokovic. But Djokovic was playing a lot better as well. Nothing he could have done. So post the match, Djokovic was welcomed to the broadcast booth or whatever, and right from there, they just basically laid in on him. I mean, questions in terms of, oh, well, if you do this players thing, are you going to allow women in your group? Well, of course.
He said he always has.
Yeah, and then
Stevens is in it.
And then it went so far as where he was like, of course I would. We're all tennis players. This is a players' council, not a men's council. Then the lady snipped in and said, oh, well, would you be willing to give some woman some power in your organization, or is that, so in other words, they were picking at him at everything he was saying or doing. They made reference to or alluded to something along the lines of that he would be in direct competition with the USTA and the ITF and the ATP and the WTA. And he again, that's not his goal is to help people, not to hurt people, and to give players who are themselves their own business. It's their product that people are buying. It's their product that we are watching. And he's looking out for those people, say, 2, 3, 4, 500 in the world that have to stay on the court every single day. They have to grind, they have to train, they have to travel, and they're flat broke. So he's doing a respectful thing, but I can guarantee you the media here hates it and absolutely pounded him, professionally. But if you have interview skills and you watch these interviewers ask them questions, they were picking at him and picking at him hard. Am I right or wrong?
You're right. But I mean, from what I understood, what he said was that it is for this organization just didn't happen. He didn't create it. This has been going on for 20 years. He said that many players have tried to become successful at this, but it's never been successful. So now they kind of got a team together. Sloane Steven was getting signatures, Pospisil, some other person, I can't remember. And they are basically fighting for all these players to have a say. There is no say. I have to agree with him. I like what he's doing. I think it's a shame Federer and Nadal are not opening their mouths. Obviously, they have enough money and they don't care about the rest. Djokovic, in his other interview, said that Manarino wasn't going to be allowed to play because he was in that bubble with Minot Pair because he was positive for COVID. And he spent 2 hours on the phone with the governor of New York to let Mannarino play. And I thought, wow, that's awesome. He's really trying to be a leader here.
Yeah,
and I almost feel like we could put ourselves in his shoes. We don't follow certain USTA guidelines. We don't follow certain USPTA and PTR guidelines, and people don't like us because of that, because we want to speak up, and he's sort of the same way.
Yeah, and we deal with it on our own level, and I think this is why I know I've always gravitated towards Djokovic, and Carla is finally beginning to see it. Carla said it exactly perfect. There's a lot of main organizations around the world that hold precedence over tennis, or whether it's coaching, or whether it's players, or whether representatives or agents, leading the player really know where to go. But Carla, in you and I's own experience, yes, our coaching certifications are not through, say, some of the two biggest ones. We have it nonetheless, but because we don't fit in with the Joneses per se on and off the court, we are often kind of ostracized at different tournaments. Now, there has been multiple times in our careers where a tournament director will understand that some of our students are going, and all of a sudden all of our students will have to play one another before one of the tournaments directors players has to play anyone at all. It happened to us recently, so we're used to that. But do we, cry about it and whine about it? No, we just say, hey, if we're going to win a tournament, we got to beat the best anyway. So let's just get them first and deal with it later.
He's a fighter. He's a warrior. Makes me want to side with him more because he is more of a people's person than the other two guys. I think I said this yesterday. If I were to go approach one of the three, I think Djokovic would be the more approachable one. He would talk to you and listen to you, where the other ones would do it just for media, right?
Attention, marketing,
right?
Pull up in some beautiful car and get out with a sponsor, chocolate piece in your hand.
I feel like if I call him, hey, my kid's dying from this, can you please? You're his favorite player. I feel like the other two would come because there's something they're going to gain from it, and Djokovic would do it without the cameras in front.
The Mannarino match with Zverev, by the way, what Carlo was talking about is Adrian Mannarino, longtime player, like him a lot. I like his bald head appearance more than the hat, by the way, but Mannarino was around at one point in time, around Benoit, the beautiful beard Pierre, and Pierre, had the COVID-19 illness, and it was basically stated that Mannarino could not play, insofar as up to the very highest level of the city and government and the city of New York. Well, Novak Djokovic took it upon himself to really fight for him, saying, he hasn't tested positive. This is his livelihood. He's here. He needs it for himself, for his family, whatever. And spent, I think, a couple hours on the phone and
2 hours.
And finally got the ability for Mannarino to play. So again, fast forward to or back to this or rewind back to this post-match interview. Was it not the same interviewers, Carla, that kept pounding him on the iffiness of this U.S. Open without Nadal and Federer there?
Keep asking him.
They were asking him about that.
I think it's so stupid. Okay, we've already had this conversation. Well, do you think what is the integrity of this tournament? I mean, do you think it has an asterisk? They should ask the other way around. When Djokovic is not there, it's more of an asterisk because the two guys, they do get beat. Nadal's my favorite, but they do get beat unless it's the French Open. Then it's a different story. But I mean, it just pissed me off. It really made me mad for the first time. Like, I don't root for Djokovic at all, but it made me mad because I'm here seeing this guy trying to fight for these players. We know how much players struggle. It's so hard for them to make money. There's not enough sponsors or not enough money being given to them. These guys are trying to basically set something for the future of tennis because there's going to be many, many generations that are going to play tennis. And what's going to happen is that tennis is going to die if no money is made. They're going to say, why should I play tennis? I should just go play football. I should just go play soccer because I can make more money, basketball, Tennis will disappear.
Yeah, and we've talked about that too. When you look at the National Basketball Association or American football, NFL, or European soccer, if you make the squad or even the practice team, there's a league minimum of pay. But in tennis, I would say the practice squad or four-string starters or people that don't even play, I would think that would be maybe or parallel with, say, challengers or so forth. But the challenger people or players are actually playing. They're actually putting in the time. They are actually doing things. They're not just sitting on the sidelines. So I think that's the ultimate goal. How do we have hundreds of players traveling all around the world, spending the same expenses as the top players and they have to sleep on friends' beds and beg for rides. I think that's the premise here. Now, one more prime example of Novak Djokovic's integrity and his courage is we have seen over the years so many picture shoots with Nadal and Federer playing mini tennis with children, right? But it's usually on top of a hotel in Abu Dhabi, or it's usually center court Wimbledon with a small court, or on top of some casino somewhere with Mercedes and Dutch chocolate all over the place, or Swiss chocolate, whatever. It's not uncommon, however, to see Novak Djokovic on the streets of Belgrade, under streetlights, in the middle of a street, taking tennis practice on the street with real people, with real kids, with non-marketable type setups, actually looking out for his people, for his homeland, trying to raise his youth to be champions as well. I don't see that taking a hand-picked, cherry-picked student from whatever company owns that hotel, taking their little boy or girl, throwing them up on a roof and hitting 3 or 4 red balls with he or she is really what I call genuine care. I think that's marketable, a marketable venture, right? Djokovic does tend to get on his hands and knees and get dirty with his people, and that's why I like him. And aside from all of this absolute biased media last night, Djokovic was fully prepared for all those responses. He answered it professionally. He alluded to Sloane Stephens and Vasek Pospisil. They tried to get this started before, but they could only get like 70 or 80 signatures. There was
150 they have so far.
Well, now, but this was to start.
Yeah, they're getting a lot more now.
So Djokovic wanted to intervene and make it more quote unquote formalized with attorneys. I think they have
Well, he said they shut it down first. They shut them down.
Yeah.
They tried to, but they shut him down. So now they have Canadian attorneys fighting for them. But anyways, he destroyed Struff. The guy was smoking. He destroyed him. He made Struff look like Struff.
He played in an extremely
destroyed him.
There is no one in the tournament, I don't care if it was Nadal or Federer, the same people, that he's being just absolutely trounced by the Western media. Oh, well, they're not here. There has to be, what do you think about that?
He destroyed
It wouldn't matter if they were here or not. If he played at that level like he played last night, they don't have a shot on this surface.
Those guys were
with
pounding
him.
the ball.
Federer hasn't won it since what, 2008 or 2008?
But they're not there. They should forget about that. They're not asking, hey, Serena, do you think there's an asterisk because Halep's not playing?
And Andreescu's
not playing? Oh, my God.
No one mentions that. So Serena doesn't get the question with some of the biggest names in the game. Halep, name them.
Andreescu, Sedovina's not, Berten's not playing. Benchik's not playing.
So there's no stress on her, but there's a ton of stress on Djokovic for 2 people. Anyway, your thoughts and comments. Moving forward to the next subject is the Stefanos Tsitsipas match against Borna Coric. Before we talk about the Tsitsipas version of this, let's go Coric. Come on, let's go. Come on.
Let me tell you, Tsitsipas had that match. Those guys were hitting balls, boom, boom. Their strategy. Tsitsipas was looking good in the 4th set. I thought, oh my God, I turned off the TV. He's gonna win this. He's got this. And then I wake up and I'm like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, I know Sister the Queen out there. What's up, my pretty lady? She was watching it and sent us some messages during the match. Quite a few match points squandered. But let's look at 2 things. Number 1, let's look at Borna Coric because he deserves it. When we first started this show, about a year and a half, 2 years ago now, I used to get destroyed by 50% of all the viewers. I would get destroyed by Carla.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
No, well, let me finish. Borna Coric has always had the ability, in my opinion, to be a top 5, top 10 player.
He has.
He has gone through his struggles and on and off the court. He's kind of ebbed and flowed, but he is still maintaining riding the wave. He didn't go away. I think maybe he was kind of even forgotten for a little while, but here he is bouncing into the 4th round of the U.S. Open, dismissing one of the hot talents in the game. So I really hope, and I really hope that Borna Coric gets back into the form that I really think he can play at, top 5 level. Do you agree or disagree that he can or can't do that?
He definitely can. I watched the guys exchange backhands to backhands to backhands to backhands to backhand. They kept attacking. The strategy was backhands, backhands. As soon as you had your opponent all the way on the side, someone would come into the net and try to put it away. It was intense tennis. It was good tennis. You can see why he's going to be good, and you can see why Tsitsipas has to get rid of a few people on his camp. It's a shame. This one's going to hurt him.
Okay. Does Tsitsipas need to move forward from his father, not as his father, but always right on court, always kind of breathing down, literally first seat over the gate, so literally breathing down his net? Carla, you and I both know how it is to have to perform next to our parents, namely our fathers, that were always breathing through the fence. And I never had a problem with it. When my dad was on the sidelines, I worked harder. I felt like I could dig deeper. Now, I've known hundreds, if not thousands, of students and as well fellow players that could not stand it if their dad was, the one backing them or pushing them, or their mother was. If they were near the fence, they would pout, they would complain, they would say, just get away from the fence. Who are some pros that do that? Marion Bartoli's one of them that always told the dad to get lost. Isn't Sophia Kenin another one? Don't they have kind of a friction type court relationship?
Yeah.
But the list goes on. I think Denis Shapovalov has a really good positive relationship.
His mom stays quiet and she just sits there and watches him and doesn't say much, cheers him when she needs to, and that's about it.
So my question is does Tsitsipas have a negative relationship, at least from a coaching perspective, with his father? We know that there's been some temper tantrums where I think there was even one where at the Australian Open where Tsitsipas' father took an accidental racket to the arm and cut him or something, and maybe I'm exaggerating on the cut, but I know a racket hit his dad's elbow while he was helping him, and I forget where that was. I remember an indoor court, I think. Either way, but is it time for Tsitsipas to move on from father, or just to go out on his own a little bit?
He needs to go out on his own. He's a man already.
Do you think Jack in the Box, Patrick Mortagaloo...
ATP Cup.
Good call.
Gene said.
Thank you, Gene. Do you think Patrick Mortagaloo is genuinely a good coach for all these players?
No, he's advertising
or is he just advertising himself? I mean, the last 5 or 6 matches I've watched at this U.S. Open, he pops up. He's over there eating. He's... Look, how do you eat a damn salad at the U.S. Open? Looking right at the camera, perfectly mouth shut, perfectly screwing the bottle on. I mean, is that what your coach is supposed to be doing? Eating and making sure he looks really good during his Jack in the Box pop-up appearance on almost every damn match that I have to watch. I don't know the guy, obviously. Maybe he's the greatest coach since sliced bread. But it just doesn't seem to me that he is in your face type coaching. It seems like he's just hit the water, Serena, hit the water, Serena.
With the accent.
Hit the ball. It's not uncommon here in the U.S. for head pros to get hired.
Just because of that.
Just because of the accent. I have met coaches.
I'm going to start my accent, my Spanish accent.
Yeah.
Justin.
We meet coaches all the time that don't do any instruction whatsoever. They just
hit the ball.
Just hit the ball.
Okay, vamos. Okay, muévete, vamos. Okay, good. Move. I'm like, shut up.
You're like, dude, what did you do? You just said let's go for an hour, and the kid still can't hit the ball.
He said it in different ways. Ándale, move around. Okay, good, vamos. Okay, forward. Okay, good shot. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell?
Like, come on. So people get hired because of the way that they talk, much less the way they look and they talk. That is my feelings with the Mortagaloo guy. I'm sure he's very good, and I'm sure I'm dead wrong. But I don't think you can be putting too much into your students' training if you're always on court with someone making yourself look like the man. Agree or disagree?
Honestly, I hate it. When I hear I'm Spanish, but when I hear a Spanish coach go, okay, very good, let's go, and you've been in this country for freaking 20 years and you still got the stupid accent. I'm like, shut up. My brother's here, by the way.
All right, so let's talk about this throughout the day. Her brother's here, by the way, who's an extremely good tennis player, top notch, definitely one to look at. Let's talk about this throughout the day. And what are your thoughts? Should Tsitsipas move on? Is Coric back? Does this win mean he's moving forward in the right direction? Is Novak Djokovic, in your opinion, disliked heavily in the Western media? And we'll leave it at that. All right?
All right.
We'll see you tomorrow, mañana. Sorry we did this spontaneous.
And Kvitova looks good. Watch out
for Kvitova. Kvitova was striking the ball, hitting through the court. She was 1-2 punching. Just absolutely dominating. So watch out for Petra.
She was hitting.
She looked really good.
Man, she was hitting.
So let's go, Kvitova. I'm going to pull for Kvitova right here, right now. Oh, well, no.
Let's go. Move the feet. Come on. Oh, chick. Vamos. Yeah.
All right, guys. Much love to you all.
I'm going to start coaching that way now.
And we'll see you tomorrow, right?
All right.
All right. Peace out, guys.
Take care, guys. Bye. Sorry for the short show.
We love you, though.